A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Have you ever asked yourself the question, why is the alphabet in that order and not J, H, K, G, L? Why is it A, B, C and not something else? When I was learning my ABCs, I was also learning the books of the Bible in order. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges. And I never questioned why the books of the Bible were in that order. But after teaching adult studies for 10 years, I have heard many, many people ask today's question, which is, why is the Bible so hard to understand? Why is it not in some kind of better logical or chronological order? Now, friends, if we were going to stay here for the whole lecture, we'd be here all day and all night. We don't have the time. Let me give you a few brief suggestions, windows to see the Bible in some new ways. Again, 8-year-old Doug, Genesis, Adam and Eve, Noah and the flood, David and Goliath. These were my heroes. I lived with these people. But when you begin to read the Bible as an adult, there are just so many speed bumps. There's so many logical disconnects and chronological confusion and scientific questions. The tendency is to just throw up your hands and throw out the Bible. It's just too hard to understand. I'm not ready to do that. I want to give you a couple of suggestions today that might help you understand all of the diversity of the Bible. Number one, the diversity of time. The first parts of the Old Testament were written in 1450 BC. The last parts of the New Testament were written in AD 90. My friends, that's a period of 1,500 years. Did you know that 1,500 years ago from today was the 6th century? That's a long time. There's a lot of cultural diversity in 1,500 years. And that's the diversity that's in the Bible. There's also number two, a diversity of writers. There are 66 books, 40 different writers. This is not a James Patterson novel that one person just sits down and writes the whole story. There are a number of different writers. There's Moses, who is really super smart. There's Amos, who's a 3rd grade dropout. There's David, that's a poet. There's Hosea, the preacher that marries the prostitute. That's an interesting story. You've got Luke, who is a trained physician, doctor. And then you got Peter, that's a fisherman. And so all of these writers, all of these different people are going to write in their own diversity of literary style, which is number 3. Diversity of time, diversity of writers, the diversity of literary style, with each of these writers using their own unique literary style. And so you've got delicate poetry, you've got love stories and letters and ethical declarations and thundering prophecy and racy romance novels and philosophical treatises and literal historical facts. And each of these styles needs to be read and interpreted and understood within their own unique status. Does that make sense? You don't read a philosophical treatise the same way you read a love letter, right? Here's the crazy thing. When you put all of this different time, all of the diversity of time, the diversity of writers, the diversity of styles, you put all of that together like the ingredients of a cake and you get one story, one unified message. What is that message, you might ask? Oh, I'd love to tell you. Here it is. It's an old song. You might know it. Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong. They are weak. He is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. My dear friends, the message of the Bible for you today is that Jesus loves you. Jesus created you. Jesus wants to be your very closest friend and support and peace. Well, let me leave you here. When you are trying to read the Bible, especially if you're trying to read it for the first time, don't make it more complicated than it is. And so again, this week, I want to encourage you, start with the Psalms. It's the book there's 150 Psalms. You can pick any one of them to start with. Just read one Psalm a day. I think it would be helpful. Thanks. I appreciate your time. Have a great week.